Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick, and this is the next video that I'm doing on the camel. It's the Worlds Within Worlds, of course, by Kerby Rosanes. And if you saw my first video, you saw the method to my madness is the great effect that was created by the little bit of extra inking that I showed you how to do. Again, take a peek overall of this. Just a little bit of review where I darkened in the ink underneath, darkened it on the tail, did a little bit on the legs, and the part that I really love is the camel head. Let me pull you in, we'll take a look at that. That puppy looks great. Look at that shading. I showed you how to do it. Easy peasy to do that. Walk you through every step. So if you are a beginner, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do this. If you are an intermediate, I'm sure you're pretty comfortable with it. And if you're advanced, hey, cake. All right, so I'm going to continue now with the coloring because I'm ready to go with this. I am super excited on this series. I just love this piece. So let me pull you in. And specifically, I'm going to be working on this right volcano. Let me adjust my light just a little bit so we don't get any glare. I hate that. So let me pull this away and put that up. All right, I'm going to get super comfortable here so we can go ahead and do this. And we'll have a really good coloring session here. Or at least that's the plan. Who knows? All right. So the idea now is, with this, is I want to show the volcano erupting, which of course is what it's doing. Well, technically speaking, the smoke is coming out first and then it's going to erupt. But I'm going to show it, I'm going to color it in as though it's already erupting. So here's the plan. Here's the coloring scheme that I want to show you. On the very top will be the red, because that'll be the brightest. It's just come out of the volcano. Let me pull you in just a little bit. So that's a really nice brownish red. The pencil that I'm using is the Castle Arts, and they call it Alizarin Crimson. Let me pull that up. Alizarin Crimson. Hopefully I'm not butchering that name to somebody that knows what this is. All right, and then I'm using a master pencil, which is 1615, and then I'm using a Cool Bank pencil, which is the Sienna, and that number is C073. Now, having said that, because I happen to have an obnoxious amount of pencils, and if you hear a little ding-ding, that's my dog who has a bell on her collar, so I know where she is. So the concept is the red is at the top, okay? And then a little bit further down is the reddish brown, okay? Because see, it's cooling off, right? And then at the very bottom will be a dark brown, because by that time the lava has cooled. So as you can see, the colors are going to mingle beautifully, and we'll have a really nice transition of that lava flow. All right, so let me show you the colors when I did my little swatch here. I've got the red, obviously, and then I've got the reddish brown, which is in effect the sienna. And then I have the dirt brown or browner brown. That's going to be the cooled lava altogether. Now, I have always been a person that when I do my videos, I don't specifically stick number one to one pencil brand. And number two, I don't insist that you have these. What I'm saying is just pull the colors from your stash and match what I'm doing here. So it's pretty clear. Let me zoom in. And then you can pause the video and take a look at that if I get it to quit wiggling here. So you can pause the video and look at the colors that I'm working here. Okay? So pick out your colors, you'll be in great shape. All right. So let me get my little scratch piece out of the way here. And hopefully from my last video, some of you have added birds to your drawing. And let me get my good old trusty paper towel because sometimes I forget it. All right. Okay. So let's get coloring. So the first part of this here is I'm going to work on this one main stream that's going down here. Now, you have a choice. I'm obviously of that choice going to do it one specific way, but you do have a choice in doing this. I just want to make you aware of your options. Don't let it throw you. Sometimes when I'm coloring, now this is my third color, okay? This is the darker brown at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to very lightly start coloring that brown in. And let's see here. Technically speaking, let me pull you in a little bit closer. We have a dividing line right here. All right, well, let's do it that way. I'm going to divide this. And I'm going to pull that up, and it's going to come down here. And it would sure help if I stayed on camera. You know, we all have trouble with that. And now you're going to see the benefit to adding in the hash or darkening in these areas that Kerby had drawn in that I showed you on my last video. Now, don't let your brown get too dark. Look how cool that looks pouring down the mountain. I love it. I'll keep you out there a little bit. Now, the reason that I'm laying down this first color is because when I go to put the red on top, it's going to tamper down that reddish color. Here, let me show you what I mean. On my paper. So here's my red, okay? And here is my brown on top of it. Now, notice the difference. It's tampered down. Let me put it side by side for you. It's a very subtle difference here. This to me looks a little more lava-like than that. So that's why I'm doing this the way that I'm doing it. Having said that, if you don't want to put down that first layer of brown, you certainly don't have to. Oops, sorry to wave the paper in front of you twice. All right. And it would be helpful if I pull, let me see something here. If I had pulled the right brown, made a little boo-boo. Oh well. Now, as you're doing this, you're going to need to make a couple of decisions. For example, see this little white rock here? I decided that that is up. So I'm going to have this flow go around it. And I'm going to do the same thing here, okay? Oops. Going to do the same thing here. For the moment, anyway. So you can pick and choose how that lava path is going to go. All right, so now we're down to here. Now, the reason also that I'm doing it this way is basically for my beginners, because if I were doing this, for example, as a finished piece, just for myself, for my portfolio, I would have just gone ahead and done the full strength pencil. Except for the fact here that I'm laying this bottom. I know that sounds contradictory, but I would have just already laid my pencil up here and then gone forward with the red. But I want to color this whole thing in my third color so that you can see how I'm going to define the lava path. All right. I've got a little bump of something underneath there. Huh. Okay, it's all right. The pressure of my pencil is probably about a 1 or a 2. Okay, now we need to pay attention to what these rocks are doing. Every path that I have colored so far is coming from the top, right? As you can see, I've got a couple of areas that are not at the top. So in other words, the lava flow is actually originating from this point. So I'm not going to do these areas here in red. I'll do those in other color. So this is where we need to pay attention to how this flow is going. Ouch. And I'm being especially careful right here because this outcropping is keeping the flow, it's sending it down either side. So if I color right in here, that contradicts what the rock is doing. Now, there's a little line right here too. So technically speaking, I could stop my flow, but I'm going to keep that going. So we're going to pretend that that just jumped right there. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. So that is my brown that would be at the very bottom. And at this point, because I have left it light, that will now leave me the opportunity that when I go ahead and fill in my other two colors, which I will do. Oh, I'm sorry, I gotta finish this. Oopsie. When I get down to the bottom here with the brown, then I can either leave it that light brown because that's the bottom now, or I may darken it a little bit, we'll see. Okay, now notice right here that I am not going over to the right, although I may change that in a second. Let me see. Okay, so we have a stop point right there. So now the decision is, do I color it to make it look like it's spilling down the side here and joining up, or do I leave it like it's flowing behind the rock? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it push around the rock and come out right here. And we'll have it join up right there with this. So, oh, love it. So guys, when you color, these are the types of things that I want you to look at. It's truly not complex. It really isn't. It's just paying close attention to the artwork. And notice here, I'm not putting the brown up behind here. I'm just letting it flow like this, okay? And then it's going to bump down here, right? And probably stop about like that, okay? So we can see how neat that looks. All right. What I recommend to colorists is always take a breather and look at the piece so you can decide things like this. All right, so now I'm going to go to my red because I want to define the top and define how far that red lava is going to come down. Look at that. Oh yeah. And like I said, this lava, this red, is being tampered down now by that brown that I put on there. If you decided not to put the brown down, whoops, as your base color, that's cool. I just wanted to give you that option. Cat Stevens, morning is broken, yay. All right, so now you need to decide, boy, that sounds nasal now. Now I need to get quieter, I guess. Now you need to decide how far and for how long that lava is going to stay bright red. Because at some point in time, that little puppy's gonna cool, right? All right. And let me sharpen my pencil. I'm thinking this is looking pretty cool right now. The hot lava is looking pretty cool. Now, one of the things that you can do if you want to be really neat about it, and by neat I mean cool, is I'm going to run this red over to the left a little bit, and I'm going to let it bounce down the side. And I'm going to stop that right there. Because now what I'm taking into consideration is how that lava is going to bounce down the hill. And again, at some point in time, it's going to cool, so we need to stop it, which I'm going to stop right there. Okay. All right, so let's work on this flow. And what do I always tell you about your pencil? When you pick up your pencil, what? Turn it a teeny tiny bit. You keep a sharp point. And that's really important when you have softer coloring pencils. All right, so now I've brought my red down and I'm going to have a split. So for the moment, I'm going to split it this way. Guys, there's just so many creative things you can do with this. And I'm gonna let this peter out probably about there. All right. And let's bring it down here. Yeah, I don't want to bring that lava down too much further. So I'm going to lighten that as I come to the end of it. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I'm going to bring this down too. And guys, this is the super fun thing about Kerby's books is, oh my gosh, there's just so much you can do with them. All right, so that little puppy stops right there, which is fine. And then I'm going to bring this down to about there and then lighten that out. So I'm not pressing as hard as I was for up here. Okay, so now I want you to take a look at that and see what I've done so far. Isn't that cool? All right, now I'm taking my third color. It's actually my second color. Remember, I had the red, okay? And then I had my intermediate brown, which is a reddish brown. And then I had my darker brown at the bottom, okay? I'm working on this guy right now. And let me grab some water. Okay, so now I've got my intermediate brown happening, which you can see is reddish. And that reddish brown really comes up next to the red for the lava. And the reddish brown is picking up the flavor of this brown that I put on. Da-da-dum, da-da. Okay, so I'm gonna come down like that. Okay. And I'm letting my pencil get lighter and lighter with this. And I'm going to angle that into that little crevice. And I've got a really nice blend going because you cannot tell where that brown starts up and the red lets off. So I'm going to go to my third brown now. And that's going to end about there. Now remember, this stuff coming down is lava. So it's red hot, then it's cooling off, then it's really cool. Now, technically speaking, it's probably black at the bottom, but I'm not gonna do that because that would mess me up with all this other neat stuff that's going on. All right. Ooh, let's hit that camera. So what I don't want you to do is just color willy-nilly on that. Just like I decided where my red was, flopping down the side of the hill, I didn't just arbitrarily color all my paths red at the top. I'll probably go with like a slate gray or something of that nature. All right. And notice that when I end a color, I end it on a diagonal. I just don't end it straight across. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my bottom of the hill color. Okay. And given that this lava is going basically underneath the trees, we're all set here. We don't have to worry about how this endpoint's going to be. You just end it at the tree line. Okay, I'm gonna sharpen up here. I am hoping that I hear some like, wow, ILene, as I'm showing you this. Okay. Alrighty, so let me work on this side here. Which technically speaking is backwards for me because I'm right-handed. But that's okay because I've got my trusty paper towel. Okay. And notice that I'm backing up into that red a little bit. And we're coming down there. And I'm going to leave that little loop. I know that looks weird at the moment, but trust me. Because now I'm going to take my bottom color and run right over that and come down into my endpoints. Now, there's a little gap right here. And pull you in. See that little teeny tiny, if I can stop the wiggling, there we go. See that little teeny tiny gap in there? I'm gonna color that in brown. There we go. Okay, so now I'm back to my reddish brown, which is my intermediate color. Again, I'm going to back up into my red just a little bit. Oops, accidentally went over that. All right, well. And now I'm looking ahead to see where I can find an end point, a stopping point for this medium brown. And it's going to be about there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Watch what I do. Is again, I'm going to jag it off here. There's a little jag point. See that? So I'm going to fill in my darker brown here. And we're going to bop right into that tree line. Let's see here. Okay, now this section here is low enough. See, I don't have anything above it right now because that rock is in the way. So I'm comfortable with doing it with my third brown because that's going to be what's cooled off. And we're going to go right there. And let me sharpen that brown here. Okay, now I want you to watch this. See, there's no tree right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in with my brown. That's just a neat little touch. Sweat the details. Oh man, that's just looking so cool. Let me pull you out. Yeah. Okay. All right, so now I've got my medium. And my pencil is dull. Sharpen that. Gosh darn it, napkin, quit that. Got my fan on in the studio. Okay. And by the way, you know that lovely music that I've got playing in the background is Whispering's piano. They do not pay me to talk about them. It's $30 a year. 100% piano music. Okay, let's run that there. Yeah, I gotta finish that off in this brown. I'm gonna do it very lightly though. Let this be a little darker. All right, and let me get my third brown here. I hope you guys are getting as much of a kick out of this as I am. I think this looks terrific. I love it when a plan comes together. Oh, yeah. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, and I see a little flaw here that's bugging me. Right here, I got a little bit of brown on that rock. And the reason that's important is because I've got lava going on either side of it. So even though it's a teeny tiny dot about the size of a pinhead, I am gonna scrape it off. Because you know stuff like that bugs me. Bug, 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 bug. Okay. All right. Okay, so let me see here. All right, so I see one thing here too. Let's see what I can, yeah. That red is not supposed to be on that rock. I made a boo-boo. Let me get rid of that. And I need to sharpen my red and fix that. There we go. All right, now I'm happy. I really, really, really want this to be nice looking for everybody. All right, let me pull out. Okay, so one thing I'm noticing here is I've lost a little bit of definition between my medium and my dark brown. So I'm going to take that third, remember this is my first color, second, third. I'm going to take my third color, my second brown, and I'm going to go ahead and put some elbow into it because I really do want that to be darker. So let me color this, put some elbow into it. How about elbow grease? You know what I meant. Yeah, I like that a lot better. And guys, don't be afraid to do your corrections. I don't know if I should say correction. I'm going to say tweaks. I just wasn't satisfied with the way that this brown was not showing up. So yeah, now you can see the difference. Look at the difference between here and here. I've probably got the pressure of a 8 or a 9 on that. I mean, I'm leaning into that. Oh yeah, much better. Don't you agree? And again, I've got you in that far off view because I want you to see the overall effect of this. Okay, and one last thing that I'm noticing as well, I don't like this little blip of color here. And I did that because I went up around the rock and I thought it would look okay. I don't like it. So I'm going to pull that out. Thank you, God, for erasers. Okay, much better. Okay, so now I'm going to pull you out and let you see this whole thing now. Get your eyeballs on that and tell me what you think. You like it? Let me adjust you a tad. Oh yeah, look at that. If that isn't great lava flow, I don't know what is. Okay, so I'm going to stop filming for a few minutes. I always say film video. And I'm going to pick out now my grays for the white here. And then I'm going to be making a decision on the darkened in rocks. Probably not going to do anything with those because I've already darkened them in and I've got the effect I'm looking for. So at this point, I just want to work on my rocks here. All right, guys, back in a few. And I'm back. All right. So as luck would have it, haha, or skill, actually the first two grays that I pulled are the ones that I'm going to be using. So if you have these, it's the Master Gray number 403, and this is the Guanghai that does not have a number on it. So let me show you what these grays look like. Let me pull you in. The lighter gray looks like this. I thought that looked like, oh, it'd be helpful if I got it on camera, wouldn't it? The lighter gray looks like this. To me, that looks like a really nice slate boulder rock color. And my darker gray looks like that, which I'm going to be using to darken in some of the areas. All right. So I'll give you a second to look at those so you can pick out your pencils, or just go ahead and, you know, of course you can stop the video and get your colors. All right. So I'm going to start with my light gray. And by the way, just in case you're wondering why this video is the length that it is, it's because I take the time to explain what I'm doing. That's my whole thing that I do. I want you to be successful. And more importantly, I don't want you to be afraid. Well, two things. I don't want you to be afraid of your coloring books, particularly these Kerby books. I've heard a lot of people say they're afraid to color in them. Guys, it's just coloring, it really is. And like I've said before, if you mess it up, then you go ahead and you get yourself a new book. It's not the end of the world. So that's why I take the time. And number two, I also, since this is specifically a teaching video, I want you to see the technique, and then you can use your own methods. So that's why I talk through this stuff, you know, why I shade stuff. why I do one thing or don't do something or whatever the case may be. All right, so I'm going to let that darken a little bit by multiple passes, okay? But I'm still using the lighter of the two pencils. And I must be doing something right because you guys are telling me that you like it, you like my pace. So that's good. All right, so now I've got my darker pencil. I'm following Kerby's marks here, plus adding a little bit of my own here. Let me zoom you in. Okay, so see there's Kerby's marks right there and there. And now I'm going around this to darken in that a little bit. And darken in this. As a rule of thumb, you're going to darken your edges, okay? All right, so let's get this guy done. Notice he's darker than this. Oh, this guy here is darker than this guy because this is the one I'd used on my lighter pencil but made it darker. Now I've got my darker pencil. Okay. I'll pull you out in a minute to show you. It looks really good. It really makes it look like rocks. Okay, so now I'm going to, with my lighter gray, just color up here. Again, I'm not pressing hard because I want to leave my options open. Okay, now let's see, we've got this. Ooh, no, I didn't. I highlighted that one with my ink. Okay, so the gray goes all the way down to the tree line here, right? Okay, let me pull you out because right now that looks a little wonky close up. You know I like to work with you in micro view. All right, I gotta get my camera to there we go. Look at that, guys. Look how rocky-ish slate-like that looks. And that comes from adding the darker gray on top of the lighter gray. Now, having said that, don't get too carried away with that. So I'm going to do this in distance view, and right now for my darker gray, I'm following Kerby's lines. Literally just going over on top of them. And I'm going to go to the outside here and darken that just a little bit. Oh man, we got a really good rock going here. All right, now I've got a little bit of a white spot here, so I'm just going to hit that with my lightest gray just quickly. You don't want to add, you don't want to do too much in there because you don't want to destroy that black highlighting that we took the time to do. All right, so let's do this. Yeah, when you pull your pencils for this, pull a nice slate color. It looks terrific. It really does. And be sure to get into your tree line here. You want to get right next to those trees because that'll make it look really cool. And notice, again, I'm not going over Kerby's lines. I'm going to let those speak for themselves. Even though I did darken them, that's still from him. Okay, looking good. All right, so make sure that you've got a really good sharp point on your darker gray. My point just wobbled. Look at that. Well, that's sucky. All right, hold on while I sharpen this. And the point fell out again. Oh well, it gives you a chance to really look at what I've done. But if this point falls out again, I tell you, I'm going to be annoyed. Because that is twice. Yeah, this particular pencil has the gray cap on the end, so you can't see whether that lead, let me get you here, you can't see whether that lead is centered or not. This is my master brand, and I haven't really had trouble with them. This is actually the first one, during a video, of course. And I'm just being funny. Okay, I think I got it now. So I've got my darker gray. I was working down at the bottom here. Don't get too carried away with your darker gray because you want that lighter gray to, you know, speak for itself. It's pretty. So really right here, I'm just going to go ahead and highlight the lines that Kerby already drew. Okay. I am am going to do one thing though. I see that I missed a couple of spots to darken the black. I'm going to hit those. It looks wonky to me. Let's see, I think that was everything. Yeah. Okay. Going to use a light gray. See this white spot right there? I'm going to hit that with my light gray. Okay. And this is where you want to look for any white spots. Okay, we're making great progress. I'm not going to get to the smoke, but that's okay tonight, but that's okay. You've seen a really good portion of this here. Now, I'm using my light gray. I'm not even going to use any dark gray in this area at all. Just going to use my light gray. That's good enough. All right, now let me sharpen my light gray. Okay. And I'm going to pull you out because I want you to see the overall change as I'm coloring. And this gray covers pretty quickly, and by that I mean if you hang around in one spot while you're putting down your pencil strokes, it's going to really darken, so you just need to be careful, even though it's light gray. Oh, that looks cool. All right, and I'm going to sparingly hit this with my dark. Again, I'm just going to hit these little crag lines. Yeah, that's good. Okay, one more side to go. Oh, so about my teaching style, I could have very easily stopped the video and finished this, but I really wanted you to see this all the way through as far as the rocks. And particularly, I wanted you to see this all the way through with the way I've done this lava, because I think it's pretty cool. I like it. I like how the effect came out. Because remember, I didn't willy-nilly just, you know, color red down in all the paths. Okay. All right, now I'm going to hit with my darker gray. Okay. I am pretty happy with that. I hope that you are looking at this and going, wow. And wait until I start working on that smoke and working my magic with that, because you know I'm going to be doing something special with that. Okay, so let me get my junk out of the way here, aka my supplies. Let me grab the other side here of the page. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Trying to get the hiccups. Move that over just a little bit, and then I'm going to pull you out so you can see everything. Okay. There you be. See what you think. Get that lined up for you. So far, so good. I like it. I hope you do. I hope you had a lot of fun following along with me so far. So I've got to do the other volcano, which I'll do. And then the next installment that I do, I'm going to do the smoke, because I told you I got something special I want to do with that. And then I'll pop over to maybe the head here, and then the waves. So right now I'm thinking that's the order that I want to work it in. Who knows, I may change it when I fire up the camera again. All right, guys, this is ILene Vick for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. I'm working on the Worlds Within Worlds by Kerby Rosanes. Obviously, it's the camel with the volcano. I really hope that somebody learned something out of this and enjoyed it and had fun. Again, I would appreciate your comments, and I specifically would appreciate that you subscribe and also the likes, because again, the likes pull me up in ranking, and I appreciate that. All right, guys. ILene Vick for Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. Have a fabulous day. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Until next time. Bye.